or it failed. Alright, so I've gotten some of the furniture in. Oops. Whoa. Now I'm going to do the floor. I know I want to do some wood flooring, and I think I want it running lengthwise this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my vanishing point, and it would be helpful if I had a slightly longer ruler here. And I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to vary up the width of my floorboards a bit as I go along. Just moving my ruler a little, and then sketching it in, and I'm going to let them just kind of feather off a little bit beyond my board. So what feathering off means is that, you know, my floorboards might come out like this somewhat unevenly as I'm going across my space. And I'm making sure that I vary up the width for a more naturalistic look, less like constructed. And then as I come off this side, I'm going to continue just a little bit, but I'm not going to necessarily have it all continue like and end in a hard edge over here either. I have my rug here. I think I'm going to expand it just because I would like a bigger rug in this space. And I can just follow the grid lines for this rug. It'll come through here just a little bit. Erase out any flooring that got drawn in. And then my curtain panels here. One thing about curtain panels is they're essentially, depending on how you draw them, they'll either be like sharply folded or they'll almost be like tubes. So you can just kind of take the top and put a few little like tubes there, or little half circles, and then extend down just a light line through each of those dips in the circle to get yourself a little bit of a panel. And then I'm gonna draw a curtain rod in here too. If I want it to be straight, it's best just to use a straight edge. And then my top of the window casing is here. And I'll want to put in, you know, a little bit of a frame around my window so that it is not just floating in the middle of the wall. And I'll use my vanishing point for that. And then this one is just straight up and down because it is a vertical line. And then I can just draw my miter through that corner. And let's put a bar here, like a sash. And then maybe some panes. That would look nice. So this type of drawing is where I really start to have fun. And then I have to figure out something back here for this corner table. I almost just kind of want to make it match this, because why not? So I'm just going to curve out corners and draw in the top and the sides just a little bit that I can see. If you've lost something, you know, go in and find it with your vanishing point. And then, okay, that's good enough for me. And then I got to figure out this lamp. Kind of want like some glass, like a glass lamp base. So let's take a look. Ooh, or I could do like a pendant light hanging, and that would give just me a lot more table space. Because like these pendant lights look cool. So if I want to convert this lamp to a pendant light, let's do something. That's a lot of metal in that space. I want like a woven-y. I kind of like this shape. Let's save this again. Okay. So if this is a pendant light, now I'm going to ignore the base on my lamp, and instead I'm going to figure out, using my lines here, about where this pendant lamp would sit. So if I want my if I want it to kind of sit up here, now I'm just going to curve out this bottom and the top, and then it gets wider in the center. So I'm going to just kind of extend and have this come through like that. And now I have this like chandelier type thing. I want to extend that little lighting through the middle, give myself some like light bulbs that I could use when I'm looking for like, how does my lighting fit in here? And a little chain that I can extend up towards the ceiling. And then I could take my time also to draw in some of the texture here of this lamp. I feel like it came out a little far on this side, so I'm gonna just bring it in. And because this is kind of like a dream room drawing, pretend that you could have any of this furniture, you know, customized to just how you like it. So that hanging, and now I need to draw the back of this table and find that. That's not too hard to do though with my vanishing point. Now I could put like a little plant on that table if I wanted to, where my lamp was. Maybe I'll use the base of this to draw a little like pot, and like put a succulent or something in there, because I could always put a little grow light up in that lantern. And have some like cacti or something growing in there. That adds to like this hard and soft thing that I'm doing. Alright. And then I'll want to sketch in my space for my wall, or for my wall art. Here. And the edges of my actual walls. At this point, having things drawn out, or in having things drawn out, I also want to make sure that I establish the corner of the room where I can see it. I can take this drawing off of my other drawings. That way it's not as confusing to look at, but also so that I can check it over and see, like, oh, okay, I didn't finish. If I lift this up slightly, I can see, oh, I didn't finish drawing this chair all the way down to the table. Anywhere else, I did not finish out right here. And I need to get the wall line right there. Right? Yeah. No, it's here. It comes back towards the edge. So the bottom of the wall, where that hits. Now, that looks pretty good. So I'll lift this up and set it aside, remove all of this drawing that's underneath of it. And set that to the side as well. So now I just have my drawing here. And I do want to figure out a few more things before I switch to my marker paper. I want to figure out some things about my lighting in particular. So, shadows on my furniture. I know I'm going to at least give myself some dashed lines here, but I know I'm going to have some light coming in through this window, and I'm just going to set the angle of the light to come in about like this and give myself some dashed lines to follow so that I know where the light is hitting strongest in this room. And it would hit here from the bottom of the window, but I have a block from this chair. So I'll come in like that. And then I also have kind of just a gentle circular glow coming from this because it doesn't have a really strong direction. These lights are facing outward. So typically what I'll do here is I'll give myself a roughly round shape that is dashed in as well. So now I know I will have light coming in through this corridor, and I will have light radiating from this. So now I can find where things are being blocked from the light, such as this surface of the chair. is going to be in deeper shadows, and I'll probably just kind of sketch it in like this. And one thing to note about cushions is they have a semi-rounded form, and they tend to be more shaded towards like the creases in here. I might also decide I want something like a throw pillow in here, and if I want that throw pillow, I'm just going to sketch it in kind of like a cube, and then just kind of distort the edges of it a little bit by like curving them. Just kind of a fluffy box shape. Maybe I want a blanket coming down over this couch to like soften it up a little bit. I've chosen some very like masculine furniture, but I like the idea of like softening it with some like warm textiles and softening that industrial aesthetic a bit as well. And if I have this blanket draped, it's just gonna follow the flow of my couch. It might have some polar like puckering towards the corner. Maybe it has some fringe on it. Alright. And then I think I want to put something here in the center of this table as well. I kind of like the idea that I had like a little canister here, so maybe I'll do the same sort of box that I'll just roughly sketch in perspective using my table as a guide, and then I will round out the shape and maybe make a tray for like some candles or drinks. That's kind of a hot mess. I can't center it very well. Okay, put my box shape here. And then get my oval established, or my ellipses. This is really more of an oval than an ellipses. And now bring up the sides. There we go. And I can put something in there. Just like these little furnishes, like just little things to soften up the room and make it appear a little bit more lived in. Oh, I want to end these table legs somewhere. That's something probably should have noticed. Alright, once I kind of have my sketch like this, where I'm feeling, okay, it's mostly complete, I kind of know where my shadows are coming, like I know that this is going to be in deep shadow, I know this is going to be in my shadows, I know underneath my furniture I'm going to get shadow. Here I'm going to cast a little bit of a shadow this way. I'm probably not going to make the light so directionally strong in this room that I have super, super deep shadows. And then I'm going to take a micron pen, or really you can use any kind of pen to make it darker. And I'm going to come in and establish these lines nice and carefully. If you need to use a straight edge, use a straight edge, so that I will be able to see them through my paper eventually. If you end up working with a pattern such as this, one of the things that you will want to do is make sure that your pattern follows any directional lines that you have. So for example, let's say I'm going to use this pattern as maybe, I just realized I was like looking at the wrong side of it. I think I like that side better though. Maybe I want to use this as my blanket. So one of the things that I'm going to do is come in and follow the edges of my blanket for any vertical lines that are happening on my pattern. So these lines just kind of continue, and then follow the line that you've created for your edge across your shape. And now if I come in, I might just draw lightly in a little grid for what these boxes, where they're going to fit in this pattern, so that I can kind of give a little suggestion of these. You'll notice in a lot of drawings, it's not so much a perfect like rendition every time of exactly what's there. It gives the suggestion of it. So you can just draw just enough to get the idea. Just enough so that if you're looking at a like mood board or a sample board, that you could match up, oh okay, yeah, that's that fabric. So, you know, look for what is the like boldest part of it, what stands out the most, and try to capture those elements more exactly. Over here I might kind of give a dot, dot, dot. For a fabric like this. And then like the side of this was mostly wood. Alright, I'm going to continue darkening any lines that I need to. You can also take a moment to like clean up any shapes when you're coming in through with your fine liner, your micron here. And ideally, you just get as many of the decisions that you could be making later, as many of them as possible, made in this drawing. That way, when it comes to rendering in marker, you're not trying to still decide what something looks like or what color or texture it is, or even what's there, like, oh, do I have a little potted plant? What kind of potted plant is it? That's already been decided for you. By past you, doing future you a favor. Any little details that you want to make sure translate, like these rivets I'm going over. Making sure I get the nice edge of my rug in there. If I'm going to put a pattern on my rug, I will draw it in as well. Here for these curtains, I have this textile that has these bars, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw them in here. So that's one of those decisions that I'm making right now, so that later I don't have to worry about it. Getting my rattan drawn in here. I'm leaving this art open for right now because I'm probably going to find a piece of art that I actually want in the space and try to not draw it exactly, but give a just like a light representation of what I would put there. So make my scribble kind of match, or at least the colors that I'm going to use for it match the types of shapes that are in that art. So I'm leaving it open for now, and then I'll find a piece of art that I like. And then here is our wall edge. And figure out my floorboards here. Alright, it's looking like I got pretty much everything traced in there. So you want to get to this point roughly before you start on your marker, where you've, gotten your furniture to look how you want it to. You maybe have some shading in there so that later when you go in, you have an idea of what the shading's going to look like. You can always come in and kind of test it out on this piece first before you end up doing it with your marker. But yeah, so that's how you can transform that like really boxy drawing into something that has more style and taste to it, because probably it's not going to be very often that you end up just having super boxy furniture when you actually are designing. There's like a few little details I still want to get in here. But some of these details I could get in marker, but like I said, the more of them that you get in here, the easier it is to draw it out. Oh, I missed my whole window. Okay. Before we go, one thing that I want to go over is your exam 2.